Both parties pointing fingers over the shutdown threat. Chief political anchor and host of Special Report Bret Baier is here for us on this big night. Great to have you with us.
Thanks, Shannon. Good to be here.
Okay, so let's talk about what just happened in the Senate, because what they were trying to do is get past this procedural hurdle on the short-term funding measure the House had passed. Looks like unless something changes radically, they're not even going to get to that. Much less to the merits of it.
Not even close. So they had to get 60 votes for cloture to move on to the actual bill, which was a month funding for the government plus 6 years for the Children's Health Insurance Policy, CHIP. And it wasn't even close. Right now, you have Democrats, Donnelly from Indiana, Heitkamp from North Dakota, Manchin from West Virginia, Jones from Alabama, and McCaskill from Missouri all voting with, saying yes. But you had Graham, Flake, Paul, and Lee voting no. And you will eventually have Senator McConnell, believe it or not, voting no so that he can bring the bill back up.
Right. That's a procedural trick. So people know he's not voting against this, but you have to be in the prevailing party to be able to bring it back up. So he votes no, which means he can try to reopen the vote. Yeah,
but we're heading for a shutdown
we've got
some way, shape, or form.
52 minutes.
I think it's going to look different, though. Past shutdowns, the last 2013, it was very visible because the Obama administration decided they wanted it to be visible. They felt that the politics were working in their favor and that Republicans would really feel the brunt. And you remember the veterans showing up at the World War II memorial and getting turned away, and all of the press conferences about how bad it would be. Today, Mick Mulvaney, the budget director, said it's not going to be that way. We thought it'd be interesting to hear from somebody our viewers know very well, who was talking about this very thing about President Obama back in 2013, and that is Charles Krauthammer.
The president is the one who carries the burden and the blame for the overall economy, which is why he enjoys the shutdown politically. He enjoys it politically because it hurts the Republicans, and everything he's done is to play to it and to show himself as the one who rides above these crazies on the other side.
Yeah, and now the problem is that the president and both houses of Congress are controlled by the same party.
Right.
So how do they disavow themselves
of
the shutdown?
Ed made a good point, is that not essentially controlling it, because you have to get 60 votes.
Right.
They only have 51. By the way, Charles is doing well. He's on the mend after surgery, and we hope to have him back in the spring. I think that part of it, the feeling of this shutdown, is not going to be as intense. And they're going to work, I bet, to get some number of days where they get the funding. So whether it's 3 weeks, as Lindsey Graham suggested, or 5 days or 7 days, that by Monday morning, I doubt you're going to have workers furloughed because there's going to be an effort to try to get to the bottom of this.
At least a Band-Aid on this thing. All right, so the president tweeting, not surprisingly, today and tonight. He said this earlier. He said, excellent preliminary meeting in Oval with Senator Schumer, working on solutions for security and our great military together with Senate Majority Leader McConnell and Speaker Ryan. Making progress, 4-week extension would be best. So the reports that we heard is that it was a positive meeting. And then we hear later that Schumer was very upset because he said, I thought things were going well. I walk out of the office and now he's, quote, talked to his hard right and things are changing. We understand he's going to go to the floor and talk about that. So then we get this follow-up tweet from the president saying, not looking good for our great military or safety or security on the very dangerous southern border. Dems want a shutdown in order to help diminish the great success of the tax cuts and what they are doing for our booming economy. This is whiplash with these two. I mean, they're friends, they're cozy, they're working something out. Then they're diametrically opposed. Who knows, as of right now, they could be friends again.
Yeah, exactly. Well, listen, they're probably friends, and they probably have, they do have a long-standing relationship. But on this issue, it's kind of cut and dry. It all comes down to DACA. And the question is whether Democrats will be blamed for not taking the deal for the 6-year CHIP, Children's Health Insurance, and the funding of the government that was sitting there in front of them, to fight the fight of the left that really wants to fight this fight on the DACA kids. Now, it's tough to get into the nuance when you're explaining a government shutdown, but this one seems like the Democrats could have overshot here because you look at a new CNN poll and it says that Democrats would get the blame. That's as of tonight.
Yeah, it's interesting. And the one that Ed had as well that said, what are your priorities as an American? Would you rather see DACA move forward? And listen, there's plenty of bipartisan support. The American people are very supportive of finding some kind of solution for that. the devil's in the details. That's the problem. But versus avoiding a government shutdown, and the majority was much more about let's avoid this government shutdown and not push it because of DACA. But you and I know, covering these things for years, the Democrats are masters at messaging. And they do really well in government shutdowns because often they have the media on their side as well, making their case for them.
And this was a day where Republicans were actually really good on messaging. They all said the same thing. There's nothing in this bill that Democrats oppose. And every Democrat who was asked that didn't really have an answer. It's all about DACA. We should point out that Senators McConnell and Schumer just left the floor. Whether they are taking a phone call from someone, whether they are negotiating the next steps, we don't know, but there could be a shorter-term CR that comes out of this, whether it's tonight or tomorrow morning.
Yeah, and it's interesting. We know that the House Democratic Caucus has called everyone together for tomorrow morning. House members didn't run home as they often do on Thursday or Friday because whatever happens in the Senate may flip back to them. They're going to have to vote again. But it's highly possible we get through this weekend, as you said, and people wake up on Monday morning. No major services have been disrupted for them. There aren't people being furloughed. And then we come to a cliff again in whether it's 5 days of funding, 2 weeks of funding, whatever it is. It seems like this is the way they govern now.
It is. And it's not a way to run a railroad. And it will be that they have to deal with the big deal. They have to come to some conclusion on that. But they need time to be able to do that. The administration would like more time. Democrats would like the leverage to be able to have it a shorter time. I think that you're going to see some Republicans really feel pretty good about this. This is the danger, is that both sides feel okay.
Right.
Democrats say, no, it's Republicans. Republicans say, no, it's Democrats. Well, in that scenario, if there's not a deal struck, you could have one of these deals where it goes 16, 17 days of a shutdown. Then you are feeling it.
Right, people start to feel
because nobody's getting paid. They're still showing up for work, but they're not getting paid.
Yeah.
And that's not fair to those people.
Yeah, and we understand most of them get that pay back.
I mean,
but there
not
are
getting
costs.
paid there.
Right.
Then.
But there are costs with stopping and starting major functions of the government. And there are all kinds of studies that are nonpartisan in nature that say, our economy takes a hit, the GDP takes a hit to some extent if this goes on any substantive amount of time, because it does cost money to turn levers off and on, because a lot of these agencies phase people out. They have a stop down, step down plan.
Right.
It's not like it all happens overnight.
Right, but there was a choice the last shutdown. They wanted it to happen overnight. And Mick Mulvaney talked about that today, is that there's money that can be used to lessen the blow, which they, I think, are doing. The only other caveat here is that a lot of these agencies don't have lower level appointments. The nominees were never put in, or they just didn't fill the spots. So some of these places are kind of, holding the dike with their fingers because there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah. All right. If you will stay with us.
Of course.
We would appreciate that because there's a lot going on, a lot in play here. And it'll be interesting to see what comes of that Schumer-McConnell little meeting off the side and where they've gone. We'll try to find out.
Okay.